has hit the big screen yet again with the movie Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And here to talk about that are Bart and Jennifer Mills. Welcome, Bart and Jen.
Good morning.
All right, I expect nothing but action with obviously Mission Impossible. So let us know what you think.
All right, so this movie picks up where Dead Reckoning left off, which came out in 2023. So Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, is battling the powerful AI known as the Entity. And the Entity basically wants to end mankind. He wants to take over all of the nuclear powers from all of the countries around the world. Ethan has to take the key that he got from part one. He needs to go to the Arctic Ocean, swim down the Arctic Ocean to go into a submarine to find the source code for the key so then he can save the world and save mankind, which, by the way, we are reminded that he has done at least 100 times in the first hour.
Yeah.
Right. Well, of course, if anybody's going to save, mankind, it's going to be Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And he may die doing it. Literally, the actor may die doing it.
So it's interesting how they brought in AI into this movie because, AI is everywhere that we look nowadays. So...
Well, that's supposed to be the terrifying part of it. The issue with this is, and I'm going to come right out and say, I thought this movie was unsuccessful in what it did. Largely, it was just sort of bloated, and it just needed somebody to come in and punch up the script enough to give us real villains, real stakes. The problem here is AI isn't like a nuclear bomb. It's not, we saw it with War Games, and honestly, War Games in 1981 or whatever did this better. But the idea of, we're all frightened by AI, I get it, but there's not a physical challenge to it. There's not a manifestation that you or I can get behind. We know it's scary. We know that if it gets too smart, we're going to end up in, an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But in this instance, they really don't give us a reason to be afraid, other than the fact that, really, honestly, the stakes are early on. The president has to decide, do we shut something down? If we do, we'll lose the internet. Or do we let it go and possibly it'll get a hold of nuclear codes and blow everybody up? And they decide to just let it float because they trust Ethan Hunt enough and really can't do without their eBay.
I understand that. It sounds realistic. All right, so this is a very long movie. It's almost 3 hours. It's actually 2 hours and 49 minutes. And it's also rated PG-13, which I'm guessing is just for the violence and maybe language.
So I got to share something with our viewers. He watched part one again, which is 2 hours and 43 minutes, right before we went to go see this one. And we're about 45 minutes into this, and I said, boy, it's a good thing you watched part one because maybe you have some idea what's going on, because I didn't want to sit through part one again. And he said, no, it's still confusing as ever. They spend the entire first hour just regurgitating everything from part one and then throwing in bits from the previous, 7 movies. So part one was just nothing but exposition.
Interesting. So how?
Or not part one, but the first hour.
Yeah. So how are the action scenes in this movie? Because you expect big action scenes in this movie.
There's some big stunt things. Especially toward the end, there's a pretty phenomenal stunt with some biplanes that come out of nowhere. We all know Tom Cruise at least says he does his own stunts. Believe it if you will. But nevertheless, it is pretty phenomenal what they're able to do, and they have plenty of money. It was a, would you say, $400 million project. I'm glad I'm not insuring it. But nevertheless, the fight scenes, Fallout, which was the 6th one in the series, which is the one with Henry Cavill, was so good. And it was so good because we had real physical stakes. We had good fight scenes. We had this, Henry Cavill is just a massive human being. And so it was a lot of fun. They took a little bit of the John Wick and put it in this world. This one, again, is just a lot of Tom Cruise running down the street and just a whole lot of exposition.
Yeah, so let's go to our favorite website, which is Rotten Tomatoes. So Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 89% audience approval rating. I don't know, what do you think?
I think the audience is really wrong, but that's Rotten Tomatoes for you. I think that, again, I think there are things to like in this movie. I think there's a great movie in here. That great movie is probably about 90 minutes.
Right.
It's the other 90 minutes or so that we have that needed to be cut out. And that's sort of, to me, not editing your own movie is unforgivable. This feels like a vanity project.
Yeah.
We say it's the final reckoning. We get told over and over again that Ethan Hunt / Tom Cruise is saving the world. We all know that Cruise thinks he's saving at least the movie world anyway. But this isn't going to help us any, because this is the kind of thing that makes people want to, watch home video.
All right, so we're going to the big reveal here. We're giving it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or just somewhere in the middle.
I'm giving it a thumbs down. It was way too long. It was bloated. They just fed all this exposition to you. The plot was convoluted. I can't recommend this movie. Sorry.
Yeah, thumbs down from me too. There are some really good movies in this series, including the first one and the third one, and certainly Fallout, I think, is the best of the bunch. But this was unsuccessful, and so I give it a thumbs down.
All right, so 2 thumbs down for the new Mission Impossible movie. Well, Bart and Jen, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, well, don't go away because we have more when we return.